Hey guys, it's that time of the week again. It's the NRL Recap. It's week 1 of the finals. Let's get into it. Some cracking games of football. So the first game is actually my game of the week, and I think it's also my game of the year. We had the Storm taking on the Rabbitohs. What a game this was. A cracker of a match. It finished close to golden point with a 29-28 victory for the Melbourne Storm over South Sydney Rabbitohs, putting them into the qualifying final. This was a beautiful game of football. The hard hits on the Burgess brothers. The Burgess brothers should have really stepped up, but they weren't at their best, and there were a lot of knock-ons and things, especially on Sam Burgess. But players like Smith, Munster, Slater, I think had his best game personally all season. Melbourne Storm played their absolute heart out at home in this game, and I was really impressed with everything that happened. The second Vunivalu try, he got a double, and the second try was absolutely one of the best tries of the year. I loved it. The way Brody Crofts set it up for him, and the bounce as Vunivalu put that ball down was one for the ages in that match. Second match was a round that I went to. I went to the Penrith Panthers at ANZ taking on New Zealand Warriors. This was a knockout game, and I was actually going for the Warriors at this game, but the Penrith Panthers played really well, and props to them the way they played. Maloney, who's someone who's let off a lot of offloads tries for this season. Personally, I think he had one of his best games. That hit from Isaac Luke on Maloney was absolutely bone-shattering in front of me. I'm shocked I didn't get that in my highlights video. But all in all, this was a pretty good game of football, and the Penrith Panthers knew how to move the ball around in this match, and I can't wait to see them in action next week. As for the Warriors, they played pretty good. At the start, they really had a good game, and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck got injured, so you can't blame him for losing a lot of that confidence. He's been a fantastic player for them. But Sean Johnson as well, great player. And it was nice to have that little moment with David Fusatua, and he got another try. So, yeah, good game for the New Zealand Warriors. The third game was actually my least interesting for the week, which a lot of people were expecting to be the game of the week. It was the Sydney Roosters taking on the Cronulla Sharks. This is a big game for the Roosters if they because Cronulla's known as their bogey team. A lot of Roosters friends I've got have told me. So this is a game I wanted Cronulla to win, but I knew that the Roosters were going to win this, and that's why I did pick them. The Roosters played really well in the forms of Luke Keary, Blake Ferguson, Latrell Mitchell. Just a great team that they've got going, and I think Luke Lewis and Andrew Fafita really stepped up for the Sharks in this match in the forwards pack. Yeah, it was an okay game of football. I mean, I was driving back, so I only saw the second half. I was driving back from the Panthers and Warriors, but from what I saw in the highlights and things, I didn't think it was an overly great game. But Valentine Holmes and James Tedesco at their absolute best at fullbacks, and I mean, an entertaining game for finals, but just not as interesting as the others. The last game, which was also a knockout, was the Brisbane Broncos up at Suncorp taking on the St George Illawarra Dragons. Now, the Dragons this year have been an absolutely brilliant side, but they've really choked, metaphorically, in the last couple of weeks. But I thought the Brisbane Broncos would take out this game, but the Dragons would fight hard, and I thought it would be a 1 to 12 point difference, but they absolutely blew it out of the park. Tarek Sims, give that man a medal. Had his best game all season, 3 tries, hat-trick. Just a great player, and beating his brother Corbin was really cool. Sam Thaiday, sad moment for him to see him go. And a really good game for Matt Duffy and Ben Hunt, someone who I have talked very negative about this year, and I'm sorry. Ben Hunt had a really good game. His kicking game was great. Stepped up when sadly Widdop left, and James Graham left, so the Dragons had some big losses, but they also had a massive 48-18 win, knocking the Brisbane Broncos out of the top 8. What a great game of football it was to watch, and Zach Lomax is a great young gun player, and you'll be added to my Supercoach team.